But the response to the spirituality is not yet manifested. It is manifested. It is all built, no doubt, but it is not yet manifested. And how will it manifest? That's what people ask me, Mother, how will it manifest? Through your past, you have learned that you have to be afraid of this, you have to be afraid of that. Also in this lifetime you have learned many things. For a child may put his hand to the candle, won't be frightened. But a grown-up will, because an experience. With the experience, gradually you built in that reaction of reflex within you so that you try to save yourself. Now, what experience you should have to build that in your heart is the point. And the experience is of your own divinity, of your own spirituality. Once you start developing that experience, then you know that you are a divine person. Unless and until you are aware fully that you are a divine person, howsoever faith you may have in me, the recognition is not complete, because who is recognizing me is a blind person. If a blind person is recognizing me, it won't have that response of the heart. So first you have to recognize yourself to be a divine person, to have faith in yourself. We do not have faith in ourselves, though we are Sahajogis. If there's any problem, they'll write a letter to. If they are sick, they'll write a letter to. If there's any family questioning, they'll write to. If there's somebody is bothering them with some questions, they'll ask. But if you become introspective and meditative, then you touch that divinity within you. When you touch that divinity, you know you are a divine person. So in Sahasrara Puja, actually, you have to recognize your own divinity, that you are divine, by experiencing your divinity. How do you experience your divinity? That you give realization to others. It's a great experience to give realization to others. Not only that, you give realization, but you can tell about their chakras. You know what's wrong with them. You are quite confident. And mentally you know that, yes, it's working. You'll say, without getting involved into it as I do it, you'll say, Mother, it's working, it's happening, it's this thing, that. But you never introspect. How is it I am working? How I am working it out? How I can feel? What has happened to me? What has improved in me? What has sharpened in me? What is the development in me? What is the transformation? Once you start thinking about it, the experience of your own being, then a kind of a feeling towards the Mahamaya develops. Feeling, again I say feeling. Like feeling of fear, feeling of happiness, feeling of depression, any feeling you develop. And this feeling you could call a feeling of gratitude, feeling of love, feeling of oneness, feeling of joy. All this starts working in your heart. And then you feel the responses. If supposing the sea is responding to moon, that means it has that mobility in it to respond. A stone will not react to the moon. In the same way, in your heart, these waves of these feelings are created by the experience of spirituality, by the experience of your own being. And then you start expressing them. And I could make it out. Such a person may not be so much talkative, may not know much about Sahaja Yoga, but in the heart he feels the response. Is something to be achieved, because you know that the center of heart is placed here. The Pitha, the seat of the heart, is on Brahmarandra. If your heart is not open, in the heart, if you do not have those responses built in, they need not be of awe or fear, but a natural protocol that develops. Then you can never do wrong, because you know whatever is good in your heart. Supposing you love somebody from your heart, you are not going to harm that person. In the same way, when you start feeling those responses in your heart, you can never do wrong, because they are now manifesting which were built within you. Because there was spirituality, there was that divinity which was built in, now it is manifesting. And then you do not worry about things and you do not do anything outwardly. It is said in Upanishads like Shandilya Upanishad, Kanthopanishad, it was these, that once you know the Brahma, then all the outside things like wearing a thread of Yagyopavita and all that should be thrown away. It's not necessary. Because now you got the sutra within yourself. Then you should give up all those outward things, because inside is all built in now, is expressing itself. And such a person automatically becomes a yogi of a very high caliber. There was one gentleman in Calcutta. His name is Mr. Khan, though he is a Hindu gentleman and a great scientist of physics. He was developing those feelings. And one day he was taking his bath in a bathtub and fell down on his back. And it completely broke and some of the splinters went into the brain. And he was in complete coma. So much so that doctors gave up complete hope about him, saying that he can never come back to life. And he was in the intensive care. But just before falling, he called responses. Ma. So, then I was in Delhi, they informed me that he has fallen and this is what has happened. I said, all right. I just paid attention to him, gave a bandhan. Next day he opened his eyes. The doctors could not believe it. And then they removed him to another ward where surgeons went and said, we'll give you vibration. He said, but I'm not feeling any pain, nothing. He's looking 10 years younger now. It's so different. Now the experience, this is a complete thing for him now. He is absolutely into his divinity. So he says, Mother, I am a person now who doesn't think about anything, about life, death, about my children. Now I know who you are. I know that I am under your protection. I don't have to worry. Another case was the Dr. Varlikar, who had a very bad heart, so they made a bypass for him. Great devotee. And his bypass went out of order perhaps, and he had a very massive heart attack. He again went into coma, they put him in the hospital. His aorta in the beginning was 80% clogged. So only 20% was open, there was no hope, so they did this bypass for him. And he just said, please send word to Mother. That he need not have done all also, but doesn't matter. And I just put bandhan to him. I was in Australia. He again was given up case. And they said, now how can we have another bypass? This pass is finished now. What should we do? They're about to operate him and thinking about it. When he opened his eyes, I told doctor, I'm feeling all right. I don't know what has happened. I'm feeling perfectly all right. Can I sit up? So the doctor couldn't understand. He felt his heart. He said his heart is doing very well. What has happened? So they put him on the test and they found out that his old aorta was opened out completely, which never happens in the history of medicine. Now this experience that he had about is also because of his divinity that I could work on him. The connection was so good. Only two. But if you mentally go on analyzing everything and mentally understanding Sahaja Yoga, you cannot reach that state of divinity from where you receive all the blessings, starts pouring on you in every way. If you hear the way these people were helped, as far as the money was concerned, as far as the buildings were concerned, the transport was concerned, everything, as if somebody is working it out. Even if you are mentally Sahaja Yogis, all these things work out. But you are definitely helped when your divinity is manifesting in a very, very big way. Such a big way that it is not possible otherwise. These are not miracles. For human beings these might be miracles, but for God it is not. After all, the world He has created, the whole universes He has created, universes of universes He has created. So what is so great for Him? But this is the faith with experience, not a blind faith. Faith with experience and through introspection. Why do I do this? Why should I do like this? Why should you do like that? Is introspection should start. When you are introspecting, then this depth moves further, but more through meditation. That's why I always tell you that please get up in the morning, do your meditation, and get up in the evening and do your meditation. At least before going to bed, you should get to it.